family-owned restaurant evokes images of kids waiting tables or washing dishes. But what happens when your family is instead your spouse, your siblings, or your in-laws? Can you handle the heat in the kitchen? We're here in Needham, Massachusetts, and Steve and Karen Waller of the Center Cafe. Welcome to the Language of Business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How did this become a family-owned restaurant?
Back in '08, we sold the business we had in the Berkshires. It was a full-service country inn. We sell in July '08. The market goes, you know where, in September. Well, the Berkshires still have not fully recovered job-wise. So in '09, we purchased this, opened it in 2010 to literally keep the family healthy during awful economic times.
How do you split running the business? Are you both creative or are you both business people?
Yeah, right.
I host. My wife does the books. One of my stepsons is the bartender. The other stepson and his wife are the chefs. And that's how we keep church and state separate.
Does being related help or hinder your operations?
Yes and yes.
And yes and yes.
How so?
There's trust factor, there's understanding how they work, and there's the relationship that you have outside. The difficulty is, it is your family, and when it gets tense and heated during the battle of serving dinner, you're looking at your relatives, but you're looking at your employee. So that's where there's a rub, but it works.
Did everybody buy in, or did you start the business and then invite your family to join you?
Well, let me tell you, we started the corporation as a corporation. Stephen and I are the members. We didn't make the kids part of the corporation because we didn't want them to be impacted negatively if there was a negative impact financially.
Would you ever consider introducing non-family members into your business?
Yes.
Well, we do, actually. Some of our staff, we don't have enough family to staff the restaurant completely, so there's Sandy and there's Bridget on the floor and there's Fondley in the back, and we treat them all the same. They're all my kids.
Would you ever consider receiving non-family money as investors into the restaurant?
I would have to have the kernel of an idea if we were approached to carry a conversation forward, but I wouldn't say no out of hand.
What about by marriage? If one of your kids gets married and somebody wants to join the business, what would you do there?
Sit them down with a cocktail and say, do you really want to do this? And then they become part of the family business.
You've had a fight at home. How do you stop that fight from coming into the restaurant?
That's a very, very good question, because the people that scare me the most in life are the people who say, we've been married for 50 years, we've never had a fight. Those are the budding serial killers in the world, okay? We have a fight, we don't bring it into work, because you know what? Once you come in through this door, it's not husband and wife. And we can schizophrenically change into a new relationship. We may argue when we get out and continue it, but not while we're here.
No, he's my business partner here, not husband.
How long have you been married?
87, is that 25? 28 years.
28 years.
28, I have to do the math quick. 28 years.
You've had a horrible night at the restaurant. How do you avoid it coming home?
Sometimes you can't avoid it coming home.
Sometimes you cannot.
There's a double whammy. Small businesses on their own are all consuming, so are family restaurants. How do you keep balance between your life and everything else?
Most of my life is my business, and that is a difficult thing sometimes to live with. We don't sit around the table in a restaurant with our family to celebrate something because I see them 6.5 days a week.
In truth, I disagree a little bit with Steve on this. The photography you see on the walls is mostly his, some of it's mine. We do a ton of photography. He's in the middle of looking at a children's book, as is my bartender. There are other things we do, but we don't give them the amount of time that we sometimes want.
You have a thriving business, but it's time to retire. How would you feel if your children do not want to take over the successful business?
That's fine.
Would not bother us.
No.
And we've had these conversations.
It wouldn't bother us at all. What we are more concerned with is that if we decide to retire, that the family is taken care of and comfortable.
Even if it means shutting down 20 years of success over 2 restaurants?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Karen, Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve and Karen Waller, the owners of Center Cafe here in Needham, Massachusetts.